Good afternoon. Welcome to Inside Indiana Sports Now with Kent Sterling. It's Tuesday, April 13th, 2021. We're brought to you by the great people at Today's Dentistry. Dr. Mike O'Neill, the best dentist that there is. And when you have a chance to hire the best, it's the first rule of business. You got a chance to hire the best, you do it. Take good care of your teeth. The first step, call 317-849-2933 and tell them that Kent sent you. All right. If you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe, hit like, ring the bell, do all that stuff. I appreciate it. Now let's talk about sports. The passing of Bob Slick Leonard. We heard about that a couple of hours ago. He dies at the age of 88. There is nobody in the history of Indianapolis sports more important to its growth and survival than Slick Leonard. A lot of people outside of Indiana don't know who Slick is. Slick, a 2014 inductee of the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. He coached the Pacers for 8 years in the NBA and then another 4 after that when they moved to the NBA, which would not have happened if not for Slick and Nancy Leonard doing a lot of heavy lifting in making that franchise adjustable into NBA life, and to the point where they hosted a telethon to save the franchise from financial ruin. If not for Bob and Nancy, the Pacers don't exist, and if the Pacers don't exist, the Colts don't come here from Baltimore, and if the Colts don't come here from Baltimore, we don't get a Super Bowl, and the NCAA wouldn't have come back in the late 90s, and we wouldn't have had all these Final Fours or the Big Ten Championship, because we wouldn't have a basketball arena downtown like Bankers Life Fieldhouse. We wouldn't have Lucas Oil Stadium. It's all a domino effect. And Slick and Nancy knocked over dominoes, and a lot of them. And for that, they really need a statue out in front of Bankers Life Fieldhouse. There is no couple more important and no person more important to Indianapolis sports and this sports community, which is really, really vibrant, than those two. And you talk about a broadcaster, Bob Leonard, an amazingly gifted broadcaster, because he was a terrific, friendly guy, and you could hear it in his voice. For people outside of Indianapolis and who haven't grown up listening to Slick and Mark do basketball games, or Mark and Slick, I don't know who gets top billing. Mark would definitely say it's Slick. They are like a combination of Harry Carey and Ron Santo. You have the iconic kind of player guy who represents the franchise. Slick, of course, was a coach. And you've got a broadcaster and a guy with all kinds of personality and all kinds of love that just exuded from him. That's Slick in one package. He and Mark were absolutely magical calling Pacers games, and I can't believe we aren't going to hear it anymore. He had really reduced his schedule over time because of falls and health issues and whatnot, but I heard him last weekend talking to Eddie White about this current Pacers team, and he sounded as sharp as he ever did. Slick Leonard is absolutely going to be missed. There's got to be a statue out in front of Bankers Life Fieldhouse for Slick and Nancy. Has to be. When you think about the Colts, you think about Peyton, statue. When you think about the Bulls, you think about Michael Jordan, statue. When you think about the Cubs, you think about Ernie Banks, statue. There are a bunch of statues out in front of Wrigley, or around Wrigley, but the one out in front is Ernie. When you think about the Cardinals, you think about Stan Musial, big statue out in front of Busch Stadium. That's the kind of presence Slick had and the level of importance he had in this community. All right, let's talk about Indiana basketball. Got some kind of interesting news this morning, because I think everybody thought that Joey Brunk was coming back. He was kind of regaining health from that back injury that kept him out this past season. He has a year of eligibility left because of COVID. Probably would have gotten a waiver anyway for his 6th year of eligibility because of the back injury. But he tweeted out this morning his thanks to Indiana University and Indiana basketball fans, and thanked everybody and said he's going to continue his basketball career elsewhere. What does this mean? The first question I was asked by a bunch of people on social media was this Brunk's call or Mike Woodson's call? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know how Scott Dolson feels about a coach kind of creening people. Maybe there was a conversation where it's kind of like, look, Joey, we're going to have a tough time getting you minutes. If you want to play, you're going to have to go someplace else. I don't know that was the case. Maybe it was Joey just saying, you know what? There are a lot of bodies here, and I want to play. I got 1 year left of basketball before maybe I play professional basketball, but 1 year left of college basketball. So let's go. Let's see where I can do it. And so Indiana, from a bookkeeping perspective, they do not get that scholarship back. Joey, because he was a COVID exception, he didn't count toward their total of scholarships anyway. So you had 12 scholarships, or 12 scholarship players and 14 allowable scholarships. Now you've got 12 or 11 scholarship players and 13 allowable scholarships. So you still got 2 that you have in your pocket that you can utilize. If you can go get a big, you go get a big. Whoever's going to help you win basketball games, that's what you want. And I tweeted this earlier, and I wrote it on KentSterling.com. But my hope is this, that Indiana fans are not going to crap all over Joey Brunk. Because what Joey doesn't deserve it. Joey deserves pats on the back and a hearty round of applause. That's what Joey Brunk deserves. Joey Brunk has had a tumultuous college basketball career. As a freshman, when he was at Butler, his dad passed away. Took him some time to kind of get his head together and put his mourning in order and have his life resume as it did. Then he transfers from Butler, goes to Indiana, plays a season and plays well. The second season, he's not available because of his back problems. Now he's going to transfer. It's up to him to do with his life as he sees fit. He's earned his master's degree. You know what? Good citizen, good guy, pats on the back. Have a great life, Joey, right? Don't need any of this nonsense. Get on Twitter, on Facebook, on wherever. Great dude, wonderful person, going to, exercise his skills someplace else. Terrific. Tonight at Bankers Life Fieldhouse, there are going to be heavy hearts. And what I said this morning, I would still stand by if not for Slick's death. And that's, you know what? Don't boo Paul George because he spurned Indianapolis to play in his hometown of L.A. He's from Palmdale, California. Boo Paul George because he lied to us. We don't like liars here. Slick never lied to us, but I'll tell you one thing about Slick. He would not have any of this booing of anybody. So let's be respectful and decent and try to embrace the example that Slick set for us by always being a wonderful, welcoming human being. And if Paul George, when he comes back to Bankers Life Fieldhouse tonight for that game between the Clippers and the Pacers, be respectful, be decent. We don't need to crap on guys, do we? Slick never did. Slick was a virtuous man in attitude and in his love for his fellow man. So let's exhibit that tonight. Let's be different than we would have been otherwise. And I would have been leading the booze tonight. I'd have been out there raising hell, and I wouldn't have stopped. Every time he touched the ball, I'd have been booing. But with Slick's passing, maybe we can learn something from Slick. In 88 years, what did he teach us? Right? I'll tell you what he taught us. He taught us to enjoy the hell out of every day we got because we only have so many. He taught us to always be friendly to people and respectful to people, that just because you don't know somebody doesn't mean that you should be suspicious of them. Did Slick ever, if you ever met Slick, how'd he treat you? He treated you like he'd known you for years because that's how he treated everybody. When I had him on my radio show, that's the way he talked to me. I told him I'm nervous. I don't get nervous talking to people ever. But talking to Slick, I got nervous because Slick's a real guy. And if Slick doesn't like you, my God, like what meaning does your life have? That's the kind of importance I put on the 20 or 25 minutes I spent with Slick on the radio and in the times we crossed paths other than that. His respect and his fleeting, though it may have been, friendship right? Because, I mean, who's got more friends in Indiana than Slick? That meant something to me. And so I want to continue to learn from Slick and to try to behave in the same way that he would have, and not be so testy, and not be so quick to boo people, and quick to judge people. Be more like Slick. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Be friendly and mean it. And that's who Slick was, and that's who Slick will always be in our minds and in our hearts. And that's a wonderful thing. And that he made this community better. How lucky were we to have crossed paths with Slick, that he went to Terre Haute Gerstmeyer. And if you haven't seen the oh my goodness, the documentary about his life, it is absolutely fascinating and wonderful, and you should watch it. I'm sure it'll be on WFYI as part of a celebration of Slick's life that I hope lasts a month. It's just terrific. He goes to Terre Haute Gerstmeyer, goes to Indiana University, wins a national championship, plays in the NBA for 7 years, comes out of his NBA playing career into a coaching career, comes home to Indy and coaches the Pacers 8 years, 4 years in the ABA, 4 years in the NBA, and goes on to be a broadcaster who is revered throughout the broadcasting community and really made an impact on the people in Indianapolis. Thank God for Slick Leonard. And we are blessed, and he would tell you this is the kind of humility that Slick kind of viewed life through. He was the lucky one, he would tell you, to have wound up here and have had all this love thrown at him correctly because it was well-earned. And you know what? There's a guy that he broadcast with for more than 30 years, Mark Boyle. And if you can earn Mark Boyle's respect, you've done something. And Mark Boyle reveres Slick Leonard. And that tells you a lot about Slick Leonard. So we'll listen tonight with heavy hearts. Pre-game, I would assume at 7 o'clock on 107.5 The Fan. And then the tip at about 7:40 on TNT. Just one of those days that really causes you to reflect and gives you an opportunity to reflect. And that's what we're doing today in Central Indiana with the passing of Slick Leonard. And if you don't know who he is, look him up and then emulate him, because there are a lot of people in Central Indiana who do, and there are more who should. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Breakfast with Kent brought to you by the great people at Today's Dentistry. And want to remind you, on YouTube, we do this twice a day. We do it at 6 in the morning, and we do it then at about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And love talking about sports, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you do, you know what? Maybe someday you can, like so many people did to Slick, say, hey, you know what? I enjoy what you do. I love it when people do that online, and I hope I get to meet many of you, and hopefully I learn by that time to emulate Slick and treat you with the kind of love and friendship he treated me with and treated a lot of people in Central Indiana with.